but as machines made from wrath upon stone machines. From the furnace cracks of Z's cruel womb comes the thunder of a walking tomb. Red and gray giants with eightfold might built to end the Republic's fight. Steel fists pound the dirt to dust. Each step carved with Gylo's rust. Iguan stalk and Mogas crawl, but it's the Ironkong that breaks the wall. Monster machines. Ironkong's unleashed, fury and chains. War-built titans with cybernetic brains. Raise the guns, beat the core, march for higher ways of war. Let's tremble as the skies go black. The Ironkongs will not turn back. Ironkongs unleashed, fury and chains. War-built titans with cybernetic brains. Raise the guns, beat the core, march for higher ways of war. Let's tremble as the skies go black. The Ironkongs will not turn back. Missiles scream from armored arms. The city dies in the Kong's alarm. Smaller foes like the Godos die under rocket fire and the murder cry. But when the Godzillas tower high, a mountain of guns neath the stormy sky, we roar defiance with iron pride. Kong versus kings, only one shall survive. The same machines feel nothing. The sea knows the sound of vengeance marching. Monster machines. Mogas sweep, Iguans hunt, with the Kongs to the hand of annihilation. Monster machine, break the gates. Hell it falls beneath this hate. Lord of war, god of grief. Ironkongs crush all beneath. From jungle dark to tundra wide, the beast of Gylos will not be denied. Ironkongs unleash fury and chains. War-built titans with cybernetic brains. Raise the guns, beat the core, march for higher ways of war. Hellish tremble as the skies go black. The Ironkongs will not turn back. Ironkongs unleash fury and chains. War-built titans with cybernetic brains. Raise the guns, beat the core, march for higher ways of war. Hellish tremble as the skies go black. The Ironkongs will not turn back. Missiles scream from armored arms. The city dies in the Kong's alarm. Smaller foes like the Godos die under rocket fire and a murder cry. But when the Godzillas tower high, a mountain of guns neath a stormy sky, we roar defiance with iron pride. Kongs versus kings, only one shall survive. Monster machines. The titans roar. The war begins once more. The pre-hysterical monster machines, the Zoids. In the heart of the central continent plains where steel beasts charge and leave bloodstains, the Hellenic Republic holds the line, a shining cause by fate designed. From the shadows of the dark continent, the Gylos rise, malevolent intent with saber teeth and iron fists. Their black machines scream through the mist. Mogas crawl and Iguans fight, but Gylos roar and join the fight. From ancient rights their war begins, now only steel and fire win. Monster machine, Mogas kill totality. Whether the brave will live and tyrants die. Zoids to Zoids, guide the land. Republic steel makes it stand. Mogas clash, saber tigers scream. Salamander scorch the dream. Godzillas rise into smoke and flame, and Ironkongs fall to shame. The slaughter machine, the brave will dodge in flames. Where steel beasts charge and leave bloodstains, the Hellenic Republic holds the line, a shining cause by fate design. The shadows of the dark continent, the Gylos rise, malevolent intent with saber teeth and iron fists. Their black machines scream through the mist. Smoke is crawling, Raging wrecks, now war begins. Now only steel and fire wins. Monster machine, bolted claw, fist in the air. Goes war and join the fight. The major wrecks, now war begins. Now only steel and fire wins. Sky turns red, steel gods fall. Hill and hard, outlast them all. Raise your fist and scream with pride. The Zoids of freedom will lie. For what's the growth of planet sea. The tyrants here on battle cry. From godlike beast to raptor speed, we fight for honor, not for greed. Sky turns red, steel guns fall, but the hell and hard outlast them all. Raise your fist and scream with pride. The Zoids of freedom will not hide. Wolf of planet sea, and the tyrants hear our battle cry. Ironkongs lie in chains, and red horn wrecks rust in the rain. Shield fingers walk the fields they won, and sea turns slowly toward the sun. This is our world, this is our fight. Zoids of hell and burn through the night. From planet Z we rise, we fall. The freedom stands above them all. Jaws even every score. Let one stop with ruthless pride. The ruthless meets them eye to eye. Jungle slick and burning skies. The shield with his heart without a prize. Against the saber tiger lies. Their cross like through and public never dies. Crumbles through and public never dies. Monster machine, ultimate machine. To the notice swarm and horns of war. The freedom burns when the righteous fight. Reckless stop with ruthless pride. The gutter keeps the lies high. Through jungle thick and burning skies. The field of the blood will not arise. The solid sense of time. The scrolls they feel in the dark. The freedom burns through the light of spark. Hold it one finally everlasting. Hell express the dark of light. After
Metallic giants rise from lying grounds. Blue guardians down the heart. Lights and fury in the sky.